It's interesting this though, because when I think of a number 10, I think of David Silva.
Phil Foden right now.
Yeah, Phil Foden could do it, yeah. I think of Odegaard. I think of Harvey Elliott. I don't think of Szoboszlai. He just doesn't fit what I think of a silky, sexy sort of little ball through. Kevin De Bruyne, brilliant pass. He is very much, I'm going to get to the end of the area, I'm going to Gerrard you. I'm going to smash this ball into the top bin. And there's nothing wrong with that either. Steven Gerrard might be the best number 10 that's ever played for Liverpool Football Club, especially in that season with Fernando Torres. But just what I think of a number 10 isn't actually Szoboszlai.
I think you could do both, is the thing. I think all we've seen from him is that number 8. So I don't actually know what he looks like in that position. What I do know is him in and around the area is excellent. I'd also, I don't want him to be a right winger, but if we're talking about versatility, he can also, we do not have a backup right winger if it's not Ben Doak.
Absolutely, for me, Szoboszlai is a replacement for Salah in a 4-3-3.
See, I don't like that idea in the future, I'm not going to lie to you, but what I'm saying is for next season he could rotate with Salah. I wouldn't like to see him as a right winger in the next 3 years. I would absolutely, I don't think he has it. And there's something about it that I don't like.
That's why he's played before he joined us, mate.
I know, but
we turned him into this midfielder, and he basically was affected by Trent's injury and lack of form. He was affected by Salah's injury and lack of form. When Bradley went past him to the byline to pull it back, he's then a makeshift break glass right back. That's absolutely not getting the best out of a player.
No, we haven't got the best out of him.
Player. So the sample size in terms of giving him an opportunity to showcase what he can do has been affected by a stubbornness to stick in a 4-3-3 in principle that's the same as Fabinho, Henderson and Wijnaldum, and asking a forward-thinking guy to do a job that isn't a forward-thinking guy's job.
It's interesting though, but I think most pushback on this will be because he's right-footed.
Yeah, 100%.
Because honestly, like, you can't have a conversation with anyone under the age of 25 about a right-footed player playing on the right-hand side. You just can't. It's all I knew growing up. It just for some reason, it's the inverted thing. It's completely changed. It is. It goes back to that, and no one does it anymore. And it's mental, like. But I think, and I've always said this, a right footer for me can play on the right hand side if you've got a number 9 that goes that way and it wants to score goals. If they're doing that, and not for me. I'd rather have the left footer. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I don't know whether Szoboszlai would be it for me.
I think he can do all 3 roles. I really do. What I would say is from what I remember of him at RB Leipzig and why I was so excited was his advanced play. So I'd like to see him in that role. Doesn't mean we have to stick with it. We're all just testing it out. And look, if he is better at dragging the ball up the pitch like we have seen, and carrying it 20 yards and taking a shot, then absolutely he can do that number 8 role. My only thinking is him and Mac are doing it together. There's just something about it where I just don't think either of them are defensive enough for me, and that's the only thing. Look, they might actually be, and that's when they're both partnered in that same position together, it might be enough. But there's just something about it with 2 attacking minded players being in that role, and that is what Arne Slot plays, so that's fine, but in my head it worries me a slight bit.
Yeah, no, I can totally understand it. So in terms of the 10 position, I'll come to you, Dan. Who are the names that you're considering?
I can't really get Harvey Elliott out of my head, to be honest with you. And
Fabio Carvalho? Yeah.
Fabio Carvalho massively comes to this conversation. I was just thinking, actually, while we were talking, then, like, who's the most two-footed out of all of these players? Because that's what I'd like from a 10 in an ideal world. I think that probably is Carvalho, to be honest. Obviously, a role he's played.
Bring Lallana back after his...
obviously a role he's played predominantly during his spell at Hull. He's very successful loan spell at Hull as well, it's got to be said. Struggled at Leipzig, obviously, first part of the season, but it's an interesting one, obviously, signed by Jurgen Klopp after courting him for 6 odd months' worth, and then never really felt like he had a role or a home in the formation that we played. Just didn't suit him by any stretch of the imagination. I think playing anyone like that in the 10 with someone like Szoboszlai and Mac Allister will definitely show that we mean business, in terms of we're going to be very attack minded and we don't fight in 5-5, like we don't really care what you throw at us. Look at all the boss players we've got. But in terms of 10, I don't know about Gravenberch, I don't know about Szoboszlai either, so I can't look away from it. I think Harvey Elliott is probably my go-to right now, personally. I think he'd be the one. If we were starting the season tomorrow, I think it'd be him. But the Carvalho factor is a fascinating one.
Yeah.
What about you, Chloe? Because it seems like we've got me and Dan who are very one way, and you and Steve are the other at the moment.
Look, I might just be haunted at the fact that we conceded over 20 shots and nearly 30 times first last season. And when you're doing that, you're not going to win a title. Defences win you titles. It's that simple. If you can get a 1-0 win here and there, it's much easier than having to come back from behind time and time and time again. Your luck runs out. We saw that happen. So maybe I'm just plagued with the idea of that. I really, really want to see more of Harvey Elliott. I think, once again, he was one of the stars of last season. Every single time he was on that pitch, he affected the play. You know, look at his stats. Like, that's coming from a lad who was playing a number 8, but also right wing, where I don't think he's suited at all. So him being in the middle of the park and having much more influence, being centre of the goal, and, you know, reverse passes into Salah, you know, off the shoulder to Nunes. Sorry, I'd really like to see him in that area. I think he's good in really tight spaces, which means that's why he's perfect for that number 10 role. And I just would like to see the best out of him. As for Fabio Carvalho, I think we need to keep him and have a look at him. I really do, because, like you said there, he's had a successful period at Hull. When he first came in, he obviously got that goal against Newcastle. He starts at Goodison away with Harvey Elliott, so clearly he was thought of, and something just went wrong a little bit for him. He played in the number 8 role, and then he played on the wing. None of them suit him. No. He then went to Leipzig and also played off the wing. Doesn't suit him. He's now gone to a team where his position and what he's suited for, he's playing, and he's done really good for them. So I'd like to see him get a look in just in pre-season, see what he's about, because the thing about, once again, Harvey Elliott I'm going to go on to is that he's still young, so I'm not expecting Harvey Elliott to start every game here. I'm expecting him to have an influential part in Liverpool's season, but if I was to say he's me out and out number 10, you know, I couldn't say that just because he's so young, and I'd like to see other players interchange with him, and those two being, you know, decent in that position. I'd just like to see how it goes in pre-season. You never know, and I don't know whether Fabio Carvalho is up to Premier League standard. I don't. He might just not be, but I'd at least like to see it in pre-season. As for the other players that we've mentioned, obviously I'd like to see a little bit of Szoboszlai in there. But aside from that, look, maybe a Cody Gakpo in a number 10. Like, people aren't going to like that probably, but I wouldn't mind seeing what that's all about as well. I love Diogo Jota as well. He's 2-footed, but he's more me focal point.
Not close enough to goal, is he?
No.
In the 10, I don't
but
think.
he, you know, sometimes he influences the play. I go back to that Arsenal game in the FA Cup where he came on and it was Liverpool changed because he read the game and he dropped short and he'd do 1-2s, and he actually wasn't involved in the goals further up the pitch, but because he'd recognised the play and where he needs to be, he dropped into those spaces. But yet there's enough options for us there. Maybe too many, which isn't great.
That's the problem, isn't it? Yeah, and Steve, I'll come on to you then. Like, the number 10 position, none of us mentioned Mac Allister.
I know.
So
I think he might actually be the one who fits best what my image of a number 10 can look like.
He's in my double pivot, and I've got Harvey Elliott in the 10, starting the season in the 10, because once the ball under pressure, his first touch. Do you remember we used to sit there and groan because Henderson had 4 touches before he'd get the ball out of his feet and release someone? Elliott does it in 2. So his first touch is to get his body and the ball into shape where he can manipulate it, and his second touch is very often to look forward. The goal he scores, the absolute weldy, has got number 10 written all over it in terms of position on the field of play and what you would expect. He's a really, really, and I love intelligent footballers, and he's a really, really intelligent footballer. So what he lacks in pace, Slot's a transition manager, so we will break from front to back to front even as quickly as we possibly can, and you can't really include Harvey in that in terms of.
Sorry, what you just described was Liverpool last season breaking front to back.
That's what Slot does. That much is, you know, you've spoken to a few people, and they are transition based formations. Him getting the ball and releasing those guys who are making them pin your ears back and go for it, runs down the flanks, and centrally, Harvey Elliott's probably one of your better men to get a bit of space and use the ball well to pick them out. So I agree with both you two. I see Elliott as sort of in a driving seat for that role, because I see Mac Allister in the double pivot with whoever that might look like. and then Carvalho coming in and doing bits and pieces and earning the opportunity to have more game time, because he hasn't done it yet, has he? He's done it in the Championship for a side that were okay, weren't they?